So that means we're both on the same side and we'll get along just fine.
Right.
What?
No.
No?
Right, no. His clan came down our glen the other night. They stole our cattle and our wives.
Oh yeah, we stole their cattle and their wives.
We want the cattle back.
That's a wife over there, isn't it? Right, so we're going to start off by showing you some of the weapons used by the Highlanders. Now I'm going to mention a little bit of Gaelic to you, simply because the clan spoke Gaelic and not English. First thing to point out is the most famous weapon of the Highlanders, this thing. Now this is called a claymore. More in Gaelic means big, so it simply means the big sword. A sword like this would have been used when men wore suits of armour. You measure a claymore by the height of your chin. This is why often they say that William Wallace was a giant of a man, because if you've ever seen his sword, it's about that long. Personally, I think it's two swords glued together, but I don't know. But yes, that's traditionally how it was measured. And that way, you could able to use it close quarters. Now, the claymore was used up till about 1715. The last time they ever used this in battle was at the Battle of Sheriff Muir near Stirling. So how do you use a claymore? Well, basically it's a two-handed weapon. First of all, I should mention it's about 6 pounds in weight, and it's a very well balanced weapon. Anyone that tells you a sword is heavy has probably never held a proper sword before. But if you were attacked and you were still using this as a suit of armour, only the top part of the sword was sharp, the lower part was blunt. This meant you could hold the blade. So if someone tried to strike you with a sword, you know, maybe borrow your sword, you'd actually block his blade like this, then taking his blade to the side, you would smack him on the nose with a pop.
By the way, you'll notice it's always me that gets smacked on the nose.
And then when he fell back upon the ground, you get the full weight of the sword onto his body, and the oozing entrails stain the head.
Just on my lunch.
Do you enjoy lunch? Yeah. Right, now, we are often asked how on earth did they carry such a weapon around. First thing to explain is you can't put this in a normal sword belt. It's too long, it drags along the ground. You can't carry it on your shoulder like this, because you're walking down the high street one day and somebody talks to you from behind. You look right to see who it is, and you've chopped the person's head off. So you had a thing called a baldric. Now the best way, not like the guy in Blackadder by the way. If you are interested, baldric actually means scabbard or sheath. So it was a kind of an insult for the poor guy in the show. So the baldric would go over the blade with a rope from the top to the bottom. And you actually wore it on your back with the blade pointing down. So if you're ever attacked, you actually slipped it off your shoulder, removed it from the baldric and went into battle. That's how he used it, unlike a certain gentleman called Mel Gibson. Now, if you've ever seen a film called Braveheart, you'll see Mr. Gibson do something that no one else in the world can do. And if you ever see this film again on television, I want you to watch out for this. You'll see him running into battle with a claymore on his back, and halfway through the scene, he draws it from the baldric like that. I have to tell you, that's physically impossible. Your arm would have to be 5 feet long to get that sort of thing. And it rules Mr. Gibson out, he's about that tall. Now, so the Scottish claymore was used right up till about 1715. Then it was replaced with another weapon called the basket broadsword. Now, this is probably the most famous one. It was carried right up to the time of the Battle of Culloden in 1746. Round basket protects your hand. Back guard saves your wrist. On the front there are 2 metal loops. They're called lugs. Now they're not for decoration. If you imagine this is my attacker, I try to get his blade to slide down mine so I can trap his blade between the lugs. I can now twist the blade from his hand and smack him in the face with a pump. Heather, are you Heather?
I am.
Heather, do that. A volunteer! Excellent! So let's lay this out like this. Right, could you sort that for me, Highlander? Do a bit of work there, come on. So the Highlander normally lays this down upon the ground. And then you have to ask now, I appreciate the people at the back can't quite see this, so I'm just going to explain what we're going to do. I'm going to kneel down and I'm going to draw this towards my knees and bunch all them in together like pleats. So this takes just a minute to do this.
You can stand up if you wish.
And the clever thing about it was it didn't matter what size you were, small, medium and large, one size fitted everybody.
Oh, it's a good job.
Yeah, no. Now, as I said, we don't know how they got this idea, but some people believe they actually took it from the Romans. Because when the Romans were occupying parts of Scotland, they wore a thing very similar to this, and they think that the Celtic tribes looked at it and thought, that's quite good, and adapted it for themselves. So once it's all drawn up into pleats, You have a belt. You got a belt there? Come on. Now the belt would normally go under the pleats. Just like so. Right, Heather, this is the fun part actually, Heather. To put this on, you've got to actually come down and sit on these pleats. So if you come round the front here, and then turn yourself around and try and sit right there if you can. Right, maybe slide down a little bit, Heather. Right, now, lie back at the beach, relax. Oh, this is nice. Oh,
Your wife's called.
there's a wife there! You shameless hussy! No, it wasn't me, darling. She just told me to do that, right? Right, then the next thing is you have to wrap the material around the body, like so, and then tie the belt to the waist. Yeah,
You need a hand with the knot.
just there. Right, now once that's done, you can stand up. Can I help you up? Right, now the first thing you notice is a long piece of material hangs down the back. That's actually going to be used at night time as a sleeping bag. The Highlander's going to wrap himself in that, lie in the heather, doesn't bother about a tent. But if you ever wondered how the kilt was invented, can I turn you around? See the pleats? Right there. So what actually happened was, around 1740, they cut the top part off, they stitched the pleats in, and that's how they made the modern kilt that we wear today. But the Highlander couldn't go around with that during the day, so he'd gather the material up, just hold that from here, and catching both ends of the cloth, it was now tied, or pinned together, don't be pinning it. Now this would actually leave your arms free for doing any fighting. What's the big pocket at the back for?
That's for taking your duty free when you go to England.
Right, now, we're going to imagine Heather is going off to war. The first thing I give her is a blue bonnet. This is another Jacobite symbol, blue bonnet with a white toupee. Right, and then we're going to give you a tag, Heather. Don't forget your dirk, and you hold it in a hand here. Right, and then you get your broadsword. Just can you hold on your teeth? And she's ready for war. Give her a round of applause. Right, now, there is one other little secret weapon to show you. What?
You can't show it's not going to be a secret if you show them.
This is the way that Highlanders used to terrify their enemy.
Ladies, hide your eyes.
We're going to do a little bit of acting here. You don't know what to say, so I'm going to do the voice for you. Okay? We're Angus and Dougal. We're on top of a hill, and the Redcoats have come to arrest us. I go, look, Angus, the Redcoats have come to arrest us. And you would have went, aye, I see them. There's quite a lot of them. Aye, I can. How can we possibly defeat so many Redcoats? We'll have to use the secret weapon of I the New. Right? And this is what the secret weapon was. The Highlander would take the top of his blade off like that, let it hang down. And when the order was given to attack, he would undo his belt, throw his blade away, and charge down the hill in his tail with nothing else on. Now, I don't know about you, but if I saw two big hairy men run towards me with nothing else on, I would be off. Give Heather